Welcome back to the Endgame Podcast. I'm Lynch Hunt, and I'm here with the main big apple scrapper. What's up with you today, big dog?
What's it, the apple scrapper?
Yeah,
that's
tell people who you are,
from
man.
up top. That's up top. Apple
Man,
scrapper.
I don't know what
I
you
ain't
are.
never heard of apple scrapper.
Nah,
I am today's years old when I've heard the term
that's
apple
what I'm talking
scrapper.
about right there.
That's what
So
I'm
you
talking
know you're the one and only right now, right?
Man,
yeah, the one of one, number 4, none to come.
That's
Today years old.
That's what's up, man. Hey, I'm Rod Brown, man.
Yes.
Country boy from Wilmington, North Carolina.
That's
so proud of Wilmington,
about.
man. Love that city,
Boys
man.
Club.
Billionaire Boys Club. Let's go,
my man.
Let's go. Yeah, I changed my affirmation from millions to billions.
That's
like, why not, man? About. Let's go. Man.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not me?
Why not? You know, I look at it and go, has anybody ever gotten to $1 billion? Oh, really? Oh, that mean I can too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that okay to do that?
Yeah, I mean, we got to teach unlimited. We got to teach, prosperity. We got to teach that stuff. We got to fucking do it, man. That's what
we got to tie the actions to it, though, too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But everything starts in the mind. So, all right.
Manifest twice.
You can't. All right. So you can't upgrade your life without upgrading your mindset. It's just not going to happen in that order.
So my anything will reach the level of my mindset.
Exactly.
And stop.
Exactly.
Ooh, that's heavy, bro.
Yes.
That's heavy. So if I'm not working on me, I'm not working on my mindset, I'm not improving it, I'm not expanding it, I'm basically creating my own limitation.
Yeah. Guard your heart above all else, or the issues of life are going to flow from there. All right. So it says guard your heart above all else, because the issues of life flow from there.
Wow.
All right. Now, everything that you do is going to flow from the heart of hearts. It's going to flow from the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Got it.
All right. So now if you're not guarding it, if you're not protecting it, if you're not nurturing it, if you're not feeding it, then if you don't feed your spirit, somebody else is going to feed your spirit, or some other thing is going to feed your spirit.
Wow.
Then if something else is feeding your spirit and you're on low vibrations, then you are about to do some low vibrational acts.
What came to my mind is offense, right? Because offense does two things. Keeps things in and it keeps things out. So like, what's guarding my heart? Because I mean, everybody's heard that scripture and everybody's heard that in church at some point. Guarding your heart. How do you go about guarding your heart? How do you build a fence?
I just broke it down. I said, so you got to take responsibility to feed it. So let's just say you watching a baby.
Yeah. And I get that part. Okay, I get that part. But the barrier, the boundary, the fence. Because I can feed the baby through the fence, over the fence, or whatever. But the fence is there, right? How do I create the boundary, the barrier, the fence? How do I create that? Because
consciousness first and foremost.
Okay.
So
elevate the consciousness.
So you wake up, but that's another word that's just thrown around.
Right.
Elevating your consciousness, and, all that stuff. But remember we talked about a couple weeks ago how we wake up and our phone is our alarm clock and all that different type of stuff. And if we don't, if we open up the app and stuff like that, right? So if we're not conscious of that, elevating our consciousness to know that during that time, whatever comes across the phone can actually program my subconscious mind, then there's no fence there. There's no guard there.
Got it.
This is but we don't even know.
So it's the build of the fence is continuous, and it's not one thing. Because putting down the phone, that's just one aspect of the rest of the day where I can let stupid stuff into my heart.
Absolutely.
So I got to be intentional and continuously blocking so it's actually an active fence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't
I wanted to shout out to you, Lynch. Me and the wife started journaling after that episode.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about right there. What's what was the diagnosis again? What's the diagnosis?
It's like the procrastination, sleep revenge.
Yeah.
It did.
That's dope, man.
And I feel like I was getting the stuff I needed to get accomplished.
That's where the fence. Listen,
I don't care what nobody says. this pod is successful because we got one person,
at least one person that tapped in and actually went and did the thing that we talked about. Yep. And which is
good job,
helping to build the fence, because at that time is when you actually can control the frequency, right?
100%.
And the frequency is how you feed your spirit or raise your spirit,
right?
Right. So, boom, just like right there is fence all day.
Yeah,
fencing.
I love it, man. I love it. You, we've had a couple conversations, but I think it's apropos for this conversation. Everybody has seen what's going on with Envy and his boy Caesar, with the whole real estate. And this is the media's word, not my word, but the whole real estate scam. And we were talking this morning, and you got a very interesting perspective on scams or how things materialize when it comes to a scam. You said that you don't believe that somebody wakes up and goes, yo, I'm gonna scam you. Or in that situation, it wasn't like I'm gonna scam you. It was like, we legitimately want to help people. We legitimately want to see people move into an area that can help them become financially free and help create generational wealth. But then it turned into something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when it turned into something else, that's when it became the quote unquote scam. So, but it didn't start off that way.
I mean, I just don't believe it did. I don't believe that whole situation started off as a scam. I just think that, after a while.
So the intentions weren't to defraud people. You don't believe that.
No,
you believe that people. You believe that they wanted to help people, but then when they got caught up with the money, or when whoever got caught up with the money, because Envy saying it was all. We called him his partner, but then he said it was all his stuff. And then, Envy ain't know nothing about real estate. So I'm like, how are you partners? Like, what did Envy bring to the partnership? And then I just concluded, well, he brought his celebrity to the partnership.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's saying that it was all Caesar. It was not him. So, but so at a certain point when things start to go south, instead of saying, yo, this is going south, this isn't operating or functioning the way I want it to, I need to take somebody else's money. Yeah. And then I need to take somebody else's money.
Well, in the street, we say rob Peter to pay Paul. Yeah. And we around here, we borrow money off of such and such so that we could pay such and such back. And then we try to keep it going, and we just find somebody else to, hey, I got a good face with you. Let me hold this. And then you get this guy off your back and you take a little bit of this and you put it to that. You just got to keep the shit going. And it's just how the shit happens sometimes. And you never know when shit's going to go south or somebody's going to go bad. Right. I mean, I've been in the streets. People go bad all the time. And you might have spent your whole life with, having this person's back, sleeping on the floor with somebody, hitting the same broads, you know what I'm saying? Right. But at the end of the day, woke up and, got too far behind, or, got too attached to one thing and not enough on another thing. It's got rough, got a little rough.
That's rough.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
So really what I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about the scam. I don't want to talk about the inner workings of whatever they did or what they didn't do. I want to talk about like helping people protect themselves or guard themselves. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, okay, if you were presented with that situation, based on like the street experience, street knowledge, you would have been like, that's fishy. Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna fall back on that. Right. Because you would have processed or reverse engineered it in your brain to say, certain things didn't stack up. Let me not be a part of this. Right. So I want to like kind of delve into like why, or number one, why people get scammed. So they'll have an awareness, right? That's important to what we talk about. And then also what should people do? Not to say you want to run away from every opportunity, but what should you do when an opportunity is presented to you, right? So that you can kind of march and then have an exit point while you're marching on that road, to get off that road if, certain boxes aren't checked, right? Yeah. And so and we were talking earlier, and it's not about, at one point I thought it was about socioeconomic, levels, but it's really not about that, because some of the richest people in the world, some of the most intellectual and intelligent people in the world have gotten scammed, mm-hmm. right? Bernie Madoff, took billions from foundations, right, that were led by like super, super intelligent people with a lot of money. So it's not about your social economic impact. It's not even about your education level. I think it starts with emotions, right? Because I believe every purchase of some kind, every involvement of some kind when it comes to money is emotional. So it starts with emotional, like kind of like almost like FOMO, the fear of missing out, when I come with this, this grandiose plan, and EA and all of his boys, they're a part of it. What you mean, L, you don't want to be a part of it?
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts about that?
Oh man, so I don't know how much advice I'm actually gonna be able to give, because I just feel like everything is gonna be subjective. It's literally, you're gonna have to, you're gonna look at everything in different ways when stuff come to you.
But you're gonna look at it. So a lot of times, right, people don't even research stuff. Like a lot of times people don't get like knowledge for themselves, even if it's a foundational knowledge, right? So I don't have to know the ins and outs of real estate, but I have to know enough to know that, I can't do X or I can't do Y, or Z is going to be very, very difficult based on the way it's presented to me. So I can go research and do some foundational, foundational knowledge. Yeah, I
mean, foundational knowledge, of course, that could be a box that you check. But what I'm saying is, when you get to levels like the Bernie Madoff, or even, this situation that we're talking about or referencing right here, them boxes were checked.
You think?
Yeah, they were checked. The reason why I don't want to get into this is that, you think, can you stop recording real quick? Yeah, so the only reason why I stopped is because I just didn't want it to go somewhere where, we'd have to have a whole bunch of, discourse or whatever. You know what I mean? I ain't want to do that. But I do understand why we need to actually talk to people about the steps that they could take to protect themselves from, scams and scam likelies that pop up on my phone all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Older people and shit like that, very vulnerable.
Absolutely. So, the first step, I think, is doing research, man. Doing research on your own without get understanding, because scams don't, they're financial scams, but I think a lot of people have been scammed on Sunday mornings. Right? Sure. Because, a lot of times we depend upon people giving us information to direct us one way or the other. So I think it's important for people to do research, even if if it's a minimal level research, but get some kind of foundational basis on whatever it is that you're being talked to about, especially if it's financial, because a financial scam could be devastating, right? Yeah, it can cripple you. It can cripple you.
Yo, how you feel about that number that they just be throwing out sometimes on the joint? So they get a guest speaker, they get a guest preacher to come in,
Which one?
Any of the just go to a Sunday service one day. It might be a month.
You mean the offering number?
Yeah. So they might be celebrating something at the church, and they bring in a guest speaker. I just want to know how you feel about it.
Yeah, stop it. No, I'm kidding.
I just want to know how you feel about when they throw out that number there and say, we need 100 people.
You really want to know?
$682.
You really want to know what I feel?
Yeah.
So what I feel, man, when it comes to giving, period, man, you should give from the heart, number one. So your heart should be at a place where you can give from, right? And then also, number two, you should not give in a place at a level that is going to impact your house financially.
Okay.
That's real simple. So if 1,000 is going to impact your house, you got 1,000, right? Mm-hmm. But if you give that 1,000, it's going to impact, your house. It's going to impact your ability to pay rent. It's going to impact, your ability to buy groceries. Nah, you shouldn't give that $1,000, period.
Especially if you can't do it 5 times.
If you can't do it 5 times. I was going to go there. So if you can't do it 5 times, definitely don't do it. So yeah, that's how I feel about those numbers, man.
All right, but I'm going to throw something in there. But if the average American can't basically, they can't handle a $600 emergency, what does that look like? Where people still do give after that.
No, I mean, here's the thing about giving, especially in church, and when you got those number calls, right? And that's one of the things that you got to be wary of avoiding the scam, and that is the emotional pull, right? A lot of times,
guard your heart.
I am one. I have given because of an emotional tug. Mm-hmm. It had nothing to do with the mission of the gift. It had everything to do with the emotional tug. So I'm guilty of that. So you definitely got to,
It worked out pretty good. It's come back to you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'm a big believer of sowing and reaping, man, because everything we do is a seed, right?
That's what it's all about. Yeah,
and I mean, there's always either sowing time or harvest time, right? So so I'm cool with that. So that's one thing, man. And then also like the person asking for the whatever it is that you're giving them, because the scam involves you giving somebody something. You gotta verify. You got to check their receipts. You got to verify their credentials, verify who they are. And then the other thing, my great grandma taught me, hey, if it looks crazy, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, I just got, let me see, maybe 2 months ago, Bed Bath & Beyond was going out of business. Yeah, so I even went to the store a couple of times and caught some like super dope deals and
nice.
You know what I mean, stuff like that, right? So shit come across my timeline, B, and they done figured out a way to get they got ads. They got a whole ad. Like,
wow, the scammers
got the ads. I ordered some stuff, man. I got my wife some pots and pans. I'm still waiting on the shit. Ain't came yet.
But
I did like about $200 worth of stuff.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they got me, man. They got me.
How you know it's a scam? How you know the pots?
Shit, if it would have been there by now, they ain't coming from China, man. God damn.
How you know it could be coming from the Chinese warehouse?
Bro, they got me, bro. They got me. So
they sent you a confirmation email and everything?
They got me, man. It's over.
Wow.
And it's a wrap. They got me, man. Wow. So check it out. So we yesterday we just bought Tootie a new bed, or supposedly bought Tootie a new bed. Bed Bath & Beyond, right?
You did it again? You went back to that well?
I'm not buying shit. My wife is buying shit now. Right?
From Bed Bath & Beyond?
My wife bought Bed Bath & Beyond, but
she didn't know about the pots.
Here's the thing.
She didn't know you got.
She knew about the pots, but she knew I got. I think I might have sent the link to Brandon too. I was like, yo, Brandon, y'all gotta get on this stuff right here, man.
Misery loves company, EA.
I was on my envy shit. I thought
but I'm confused. I mean, Bed Bath & Beyond still does exist now.
It still does exist.
But it's overstocked.
So that's where I'm going with it. I'm going with the whole joint. So we just bought a bed because Bed Bath & Beyond was bought by Overstock. So they back rocking and shit like that. So my wife is like, yo, did you get any emails on the bed? So it's been 2-3 weeks now. She's like, where the bed? I'm like, yo, everything ain't Amazon. Shit ain't coming the next day with everything, right? So we go on the joint and I'm combing this. So the reason why I say this, because you was like, make sure it's verified with credentials and shit like that. Right. So I'm checking the email, making sure the email is a real joint. I'm checking the links, you know what I mean? All this type of stuff. Like I'm telling you, I'm on the joint, right? So we finally get to the, I think she used the PayPal. So I went to PayPal and found the number and the website, all this different type of stuff. And the shit said it was going to take 9 to 12 weeks or something like that.
So your pot's on the way.
Man, I still said this shit is scam. I told my wife, I said, no, not my pots. The bed from I got scammed for the pots. I'm telling you, I got scammed for the pots. The bed is official.
So I got a problem.
Yo, the bed.
If you got scammed for the pots at Bed Bath & Beyond, you or your wife, y'all went back to that same well.
My wife had nothing to do with the transaction that I did on the Instagram. Bed Bath & Beyond facade. It was some people that created some shit with all the logos and all that other stuff.
So she went to the real Bed.
She went to the real Bed Bath & Beyond, bought a bed and everything, but we still wasn't waiting no 9 to 12 weeks, so we got a refund from them.
Watch those pots and pans show up. I'm just saying.
If they do, then I got to come to another podcast.
You didn't get scammed. Did you report the scam to somebody?
Nah.
Because a lot of people don't do that.
Nah, I didn't. I'm like a lot of people.
Why didn't you?
I just ain't had time for doing all that shit.
So yours was you ain't have time to do it. A lot of people don't want to do it because they're embarrassed.
Yeah, I didn't even that. I just had. I chalked
millions of people that.
Yeah, I got. Listen, man, I've been robbed before.
Right.
I'm talking about gunpoint, all that different type of stuff. Right. Sometimes you just get a shit up and you live to see another day.
Right.
Sometimes it ain't even worth the motherfucking fight.
So let me ask you this, because this is something that people should do when it comes to a scam. They should trust their instincts. instinctually during the purchase, did you go something about this ain't
instinctual? Right. I was on emotional. This is great deal for me, and I'm buying this shit.
But you never said this don't feel right.
I had already been in the store and made purchases and got a whole bunch of stuff for next to nothing. Now I'm thinking that I'm getting another joint for next to nothing in here. I'm gonna get these joints, and my wife gonna love me even more because I got her some pots and pans.
So was the website called Bed Bath and Beyond?
Yeah, shit had an O in there. Bed Bath and Beyond, and then it probably had a slash, this, that, and a third.
Had a bath with an E.
Another
thing that people should do is use like secure payment methods. I love how your scenario has turned into, the case study now. Yeah. Did you use
a
secure payment method?
I don't even know about that one, but what my wife always uses the PayPal joint because she can always get her money back from PayPal.
That's smart.
So she uses that on that joint. Me personally, I'm just be swiping and shit like that.
All right, just to interject here, I used to work in banking, and work in the fraud department, stuff like that. If you can, you should always use a credit card, even with PayPal, right? Because essentially, when something fraud happens on a credit card, you'll get the money back right away. Yeah, but if it's coming from a debit card,
forget about it.
It takes way longer.
Great advice. And I do have all them protection joints on the credit card, so I need to use the credit card, which is super dope. I just wanted to give you a real world illustration of how I just got the other day. And it was all off emotion.
A part of the playbook for scammers, they apply a lot of pressure. You feel like you had a lot of pressure applied to you to buy these pots? They kept showing up in your timeline?
Nah, I'm just like, if I see a dope deal,
so it was all about the deal for you. 100% about the deal.
Always about the deal, because the same way I told you, Rod, man, I be getting 3 of them sneakers for one, right? I put you on. Right, you yo, big dog, the other day I got me 3 for the one, man. You know what I'm saying? And I be up this joint switching them out. You know what I mean? My shit's be on point. But anyway, yes, it's about the deal. If I could get the same thing for, you know what I mean? For that discount. Yeah,
so what would be different? Do you think you could get scammed like that again?
Yeah.
You do?
It's going to be on listen, like you said, it's all about the emotion.
Right.
When they sent the email back, my wife sent the text joint. You know how you start texting people now. You didn't give no numbers. It take you a while to get to a number and shit. Right. So she sent the text joint. When they hit her with a text back, this shit was 2 paragraphs. I was like, ain't nobody. I was like, it's a scam. I was like, don't text back no more. It's a scam. But she talking to some real people because they outsource shit these days and all that type of stuff.
Or AI. She's probably talking to AI.
Yeah, all that. But AI coming from
real people.
You know what I mean? Pakistan. You know what I mean? But anyway, I just was like, from my experience, that's nobody sends back a text with that many words in it. Yeah, but she was really talking to the people. That's funny. The whole time I'm like, this shit's scam.
Says the guy that got
I can get scammed
again. She's really talking to the real people.
Motherfucker gonna get you again because you want what you want when you want it. And motherfuckers ain't trying to wait. He's trying to get the quick flip. You know what I mean? All that.
So I hope we help people, man. I hope we gave you some tips on things that you need to look for.
Give us a couple more tips.
That's it, man. You helping me. We hit them with everything, man.
I ain't verified the source. I just wanted the deal. Yeah, I just wanted the deal. That's what happened with the motherfuckers with
man. You know, scammers built a whole entire Apple store in China. They built a whole Apple store.
Yeah, I like that.
And had fake Apple products, the whole nine. An entire store. So, man.
Well, you got a bunch of people buying fake J's.
Were they fake or were they unauthorized? Because that's another thing that's happening.
No, it was a fake. Apple came and shut them down. It was a whole fake store.
Because what's happening is people are getting the real thing, and it's just that Apple didn't sanction. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a different way of stuff falling off the truck. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the reps and stuff like that now.
Nah, this was a whole fake store. A whole fake store. So yeah, just be careful, man. Be careful, especially folks that are dealing with like cognitive situations, dementia. Or make sure you take care of those people too. Make sure you got safeguards in place so that if they get a phone call from a telemarketer, you can block it or not allow them to answer the phone or whatever, because that's deep.
Yeah,
and they could be hurt. They could be hurt financially. So have you been scoping out what's going on in Africa?
Nah, what's going on in Africa?
So Ghana is about to file for bankruptcy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What's going on over there?
So I dug in a little bit, man, and I found this information about like ways that not just Africa, but just foreign lands, foreign countries, ways to kind of oppress them and kind of rob them of their resources by doing certain things that appears to be favorable by the country, but it's not really favorable. Dang. It's all a part of the playbook to rob them of their resources and to keep them oppressed and to keep them dependent.
The scam.
And the first thing is like foreign aid. Right. So you think foreign aid, and people give the foreign aid all the time. Right. But foreign aid is really, I need to keep you need to not be hungry. You need to have some life. You need to have some resources so that you can go get me these natural resources that I need. So you can go get me that cocoa. You know, we talked about that before. So you go get me that cocoa. You can go get me, bananas, whatever else you got, the natural resources. I need you to not be hungry. I need for you to be okay enough. So it's not, most of the aid, and we've talked about this before, is not life-changing. Yeah. It is enough to keep you where you are.
Keep you in the field.
Keep you in the field, exactly, right? Want to keep you in the field, exactly. So that's one thing. And then just like with the cocoa, they create monopolies to control or to buy up the natural resources. So like if I have one or two or maybe three companies, I think with cocoa, it's like 3 companies that literally buys all the cocoa in the world. Right. And, De Beers, they are the diamond, monopoly for the most part. Yeah. So when you have a monopoly that's not scrutinized or not, governed or policed, then you can manipulate prices. So they can drive down if you buy all the cocoa, at some point in time you can say, you know what, I don't want to pay you X, I want to pay you something less than X. Yeah. Right. And that creates a dependency because, hey, if you're the only person buying the cocoa, and so and when I was looking at this stuff, I was trying to apply it to the U.S. Right. Oh yeah. Because there's a bunch of aid that people get in the United States, right? Yeah. Public aid or whatever. But it's not life changing. It's like you said. I love that. You said it's enough to keep you in the field. Yeah,
I mean, just thinking about that, this is like a whole country is built on the same model.
Exactly. So what country? What is that? What country is that?
The country we live in.
Oh, the United States.
Yeah. Max don't live here, but we live here.
Got it.
Yeah, this is the country. Yeah, it's definitely this one. But yeah, you got to figure every corporation, it's all the same thing. They keep everybody at a mid level. Every now and then they give them a little, what you call that, a bonus. You know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah, give them a little extra. You know what I mean? And then boom, they right back in enough to stay in the field again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then, same shit. So they have
the school system the same way.
Bruh.
They make you think you about to
that's
get out.
That's one of the things in the playbook, like eliminate or minimize education. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because once you don't know, right, or you're not educated, then that's a way of controlling you also.
Yeah. Keep you in the field.
Keep you in the field. So I guess, man, we should call this keep you in the field. Another thing that they do is they destroy the foreign country's ability to grow their own food.
It is. Yeah.
So like Latin America used to produce pretty much all their own food. Now they produce almost nothing. Yeah. And so they're dependent on, what food they get and the kind of food they get.
They depending on the check, depending on the corporation. I'm applying to everything that we got going on over here on this side. So they destroy the ability for people to go buy or own their own businesses. So they take away the information and shit like that from them. Nobody wants to be an entrepreneur now. So now they got to wait for them to pay them to get their food. So they depending on them to stay in the field again so you can get another check and eat again. Same shit. Yeah. They run the same play.
Another big one is debts and loans. So they loan countries money that probably shouldn't be lent the money because they really can't service the debt. They can't pay it back. Yeah. They can't make the payments on it. But I'm gonna give you a loan so that you are dependent on me at any point in time because I can come take everything. Absolutely. So, I'll let you slow pay. That's fine. That's fine. But you still owe me this money.
Absolutely.
I'll let you slow pay. I'll let you not be able to pay this debt back, not service this debt. But then again, that's another form of bondage, and it does what? Keep you what? In the field. Good googly moogly, boy. That's a bar. Keeps you in the field.
You better get my book, Prison of Prosperity.
Keeps you in the field. And then the last one is like creating these international economic institutions.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I love it.
And they create those institutions so that, again, you have to continue to produce. Because if you don't continue to produce, then what will you have? They're already third world countries.
Dang.
So what's worse than a third world country? Then they got to produce. And so I thought about the Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank, because at any given time, the Fed can print money to go do whatever they want to do that can satisfy their agenda. The Fed controls interest rates, right, which controls the ability to get debt, right? And we all know debt is basically wealth. If I can borrow money to start my business, or if I can borrow money to get this house that's going to appreciate, that's going to help create wealth. But they use it to pin people down, hold people down. So that's the play that they're running for, a lot of places, man. Third world places, people that look like us that are getting handed these raw deals, man.
Man, it's tough.
These raw
I appreciate
deals.
that knowledge and information, because it makes me look at everything, you know what I mean, just under the same.
Yeah. So that's why, like, we should be striving to do forms of aid and forms of education that is life changing. That's not just static. That's why I be getting, been out of shape when politicians come in and talk about what they're going to do for the Black community, for the underserved, man. And it's typically something where it's a turkey. I'm gonna give you a turkey around Thanksgiving. Okay, but teach me how to go get a turkey farm, or give me a loan to get a turkey farm. Right, versus handing me a turkey. I appreciate the turkey, because that might have been the only thing I had for Thanksgiving that you gave me. So, but yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, we was out there, on a smaller scale. We were in the park Sunday. They had a resource fair for people that are experiencing hardships, that are in transition. We were out there as one of the people that they could, as a resource, and we gave away some like hygiene kits and stuff like that, on a small scale. But as being there, one had a huge shot of fulfillment, huge shot of dopamine from the fulfillment that my heart got to, do what we did to help some other people. And what I got from it was that we may have a bigger calling on that side to raise awareness to people who actually can lend their resources or their services in this capacity, and make a bigger difference. I think a lot of people don't understand how much how little it may take to make a huge difference. Yeah. And I was able to see that, and I just believe that our calling now may be a tad bit different in that space, because we just need to start to explain to people, it doesn't take what people may think to make a big difference, man. So yeah, shout out to my man Dana Daughtry for throwing that whole resource fair together, man. Gay City 180, all that stuff, man. It's pretty dope, man, to have over a couple hundred people out there that are experiencing hardships, and we see a few of those people on a daily basis, over there when we come into the gym, you see all those tents and stuff like that over there. Yeah. So just to be able to help out a little bit, with some stuff was pretty cool.
That's dope. Yeah, that's dope. Super dope. I was in Austin. Went to Austin, hung out in Austin. It's interesting. So I went for to see a F1 race, Formula One race, right? Yeah. Pretty dope. That F1 money is just different kind of money, right? Totally different kind of money. Car is $15 million, right? They'll wreck it and then throw another car out there. I mean, that's just so 432,000 people at one event, again, just insane. Just think about the logistics, think about everything that went into orchestrating. And I didn't feel like there were 432,000 people. So all, from getting there to getting to my seat, to experiencing the race, to going to the bathroom, I didn't feel like I was in a place with 432,000 people, right? So that was one aspect. The other aspect was hanging out downtown Austin. The homeless population was like off the chain. I felt the homeless population. Again, I didn't feel like I was in a place where there were 432,000 people, but I felt like the need that's in Austin downtown, right? I talked to one of my Lyft drivers, right? And this cat, first of all, my Lyft driver is the dopest Lyft driver I had ever experienced. This dude was the number one Lyft driver in Texas. Dude says he makes $200,000 a year.
Dang.
Driving Lyft, right? And so that's a whole nother story how he does that. I'm like, bro, why doesn't everybody do that? And the first thing he said, because they lazy, right? And so it ain't got nothing to do with, his playbook when it comes to, picking up people or whatever. But anyway, but he's from there. He's been there 40 some years. And he was like, man, the homeless population has always been bad. I said, what are people doing about it? He said, the biggest thing, a couple years ago, at one point in time, they had certain places that they could go, like shelters, and they couldn't be in certain places, or they would get, kicked out, or cops would come or whatever. But he said, I guess like right at the tail end of COVID, they told them they could stay anywhere they want to in the city. He said that they went crazy though. They had tents posted up across the street from Ritz-Carlton and all that stuff. So businesses lost their mind. And so now they've kind of relegated them, back. But so I'm like, but what has the city done? And he said, not a whole lot, like no new shelters. They didn't, it's like, okay. And Austin is Texas period is a warm climate. So he's like, yeah, people like they're in Minnesota or whatever. Nah, they figure out a way to get to Texas if they're going to be homeless because it's warm in Texas. And I'm like, where they can get from Minnesota to Texas, but you know what I'm saying? And then, then it was the old, they don't want help because yada, 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 which I just find it hard to believe that anybody that's homeless doesn't want help. But yeah, so he went back to, lazy, them being lazy, people being lazy, but it's a huge problem in the U.S. And I just, for the life of me, I don't understand it. And there could be grassroots people like yourself, AWOL outreach doing what AWOL outreach is doing. But, if we're sending, $60 billion to the Ukraine, certainly we can take $1 billion and go do something for our homeless population, build, structures for them to stay in, build, housing. It just, I don't know. I'm baffled. I'm just baffled. And so I know it's about, a part of it is about significance, right? And I guess a homeless person in somebody's mind isn't significant outside of them being a human being. And so there's not a way for them to make money or to gain influence from doing stuff for the homeless. So that might be it. I don't know, man. I just know that I felt the homeless population. I didn't feel 432,000 people at this multi-million-dollar sport, or no, billion-dollar sport. I didn't event. I didn't feel that. So I had to kind of process that.
Yeah, it's tough.
It bugged me. Yeah, it bugged me.
It's tough.
So
it's tough. I mean, when you see it, it's in your face, all the time, then you're more conscious of it. So it's just like, hey, what are we doing about this? Or what can we, or whatever, what that question is.
How do we hold these, and don't say vote, how do we hold these politicians accountable?
I mean, I'm not going directly after them. I'm going after the people that I'm around, because we can do stuff without them. Like, you know what I mean? I just be like, yo, this is what we got going on. We're going to be over here. Yo, y'all rocking with us or what? Right. And I think, transformation inside out process,
Inside out.
Start with us.
So,
and move from there.
So the communities are responsible, you're saying? Or have more, or should take on more responsibility?
It's ours. Okay. But since we moved across town, and we don't see it like that, so we don't see it as our community anymore. It's a community problem. It's our community that we need to, you know what I mean?
And
we can't put the onus on other people.
That's interesting you bring that up, because that's exactly what the guy, I think his name was Eddie. So Eddie was talking about the community aspect of it and how gentrification was a big part of it. And then those folks didn't have anywhere to go. The folks that did have a place to go, they were out. You know, I'm gone. Yeah. And they ain't really look back to see what's happening to their brother or their sister. They just out.
I'm out.
Yeah. And they're not really doing anything. And I just think, you know, if we really believe that we're always sowing or we're always reaping or, you know, or pulling in a harvest, that's definitely an area that we got to figure out ways to sow more in the community. So I don't know how to do that. Yeah. I don't know how to, outside of do what I can do, but I don't know how to, I guess, mobilize people to go make that happen. Yeah.
I mean, I think the way we're doing it now we're raising awareness like within our close-knit community, and, you know, I'm urging people to lend their gift or their service or their resource that they have. Like Natalie gave 500 hot dogs.
Wow.
She makes food.
Right.
We don't need you to do anything else. You make food. Yeah. Like, bring the food. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what you do. Do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had little journals. Like, you know, like I'm the education, motivation, and empowerment guy. Like, they may need to get some stuff off of their mind here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, we gave hygiene kits and everything, but this is what I do right here. So take this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So I guess start with the gift, point to the gift, then kind of corral all the gifts, and then usher in the gifts for that community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's a gap.
Do you think, I see people, and I've always wondered like how, like, for example, teachers, I see some teachers that are like super passionate, and I go like, how or why are you that passionate for teaching? Right. I just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I believe by nature I'm a teacher, but I teach what I teach. But like in the classroom, I see some phenomenal teachers, and they absolutely love it. And you can tell that they love it. You can tell they were meant to do that. And I just don't get it. And do you think like service or giving is that way also? Because I just see some people that like when it's time to serve, they're like, "Wow, let's go. I'm in." And then you got other people that are standoffish. Yeah. And never tap in, never plug in. You can't ever. You can't. And it's like, go ahead.
You can't give what you don't have.
Yeah, but
I don't miss it.
All right, drop it.
No,
you can't give.
It's
what
not
you don't
in
have.
their heart to actually do that, so they can't give or lend that. They can't be there for that. They're not. They don't want to be there. It's not in their heart to actually do that. You see a teacher doing what they're doing, that's in their heart to actually be that passion come from the heart. You understand what I'm saying? So if it's not, if they don't have it to give, you can't give it out. Like that's just on everything. If it could be money, they ain't got it. It could be time, they ain't got it. Yeah, it's passion, they ain't got it. Like motherfucker don't got it.
Good Google or Moogle.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Because
we got more power than that, though.
There's some stuff circulating right now that I feel like makes voting even more serious this go around. Like, have you guys heard of Project 2025?
Nah, what's that?
Basically, it's an initiative that is basically going to expand the powers of the presidency, where they were going to get rid of the Department of Justice, the FCC, and the FTC. Along with some other agencies. Like, it was kind of for like a Trump thing, but it's basically a playbook that all the Republicans kind of been running off of lately. So I don't mean to make this a political podcast, but that's just my 2 cents right now.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
I don't know much about Project 2025.
Yeah, it sounds like a highway.
Sounds like a play to keep people oppressed, or sounds like a play to
keep us in the field.
So I mean, you gotta follow. You know, like when people always say follow the money, you got to follow the politics too. You got to follow the politics to see like what's the motivation for the changes, right? Because there is a motive for the changes. It's not by happenstance. It's not by happenstance at all. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that project. EA Sports.
What you think about it, EA?
I mean, basically, it's just a playbook it's a conservative vehicle to try to like make things where it's like, yo, I can do whatever I want and not really be checked. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's supposed to be a way to kind of like eliminate some checks and balances where it's just like, you know, it's only going to do is going to serve the people up at the top. So it's just like one of those things of like, you know, a lot of people are seeing things that are happening right now, and the emotion is kind of like, well, I'm not going to vote next time. Right. And I just don't think that's like you know, it's one of those things that can't really let that slide this time.
Oh, right.
Gotcha. What else, big dog? You went into the thing briefly, but you talked about it homeless. But how was the trip though?
Oh, trip was dope, man. Yeah. Trip was super dope. It was actually a anniversary gift from the wife. So
happy anniversary, man.
I mean, the anniversary was in June.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
Well, I appreciate it. But yeah, the trip was dope, man. And but she created a monster because it's like I can't not go to another race, right? And there are only like 2 or 3 in the U.S.
What's going on with this?
It's only 2 or 3 in the U.S. You say country? Ain't nothing country about Formula 1.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm just
ain't nothing country about Formula 1.
I'm cool. The Super Bowl, the NBA Finals. I just don't know much about the race.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's probably less than 1% black people there. Less than 1% out of 432,000.
Gotcha.
But the number one driver, well, not the number one, relatively speaking, over the past decade, is a black guy. So that's how I actually got into, you know, and I'm a new fan. I'm a relatively new fan. So I don't know a whole lot of stuff, right? I know a little bit to be dangerous. But I saw Lewis Hamilton. He's won. You know, anything, again, we get in, we're going to dominate at some point. So, kid, you know, grew up racing go-karts, and it just kind of escalated to now he's like at the pinnacle. Formula 1, you know, his cars go 200 miles an hour. And again, it costs $15 million and probably only about, you know, less than 1% of 1% of 1% of people that has ever driven them that can drive them. That's just how complex, you know, these vehicles are. And so, yes, I'm a huge Lewis Hamilton fan. He's won more world titles than anybody, right? He's the only African-American driver on the circuit. And it's just a dope sport. It's interesting because, again, it's a wealthy sport. Anybody can't just go get a race team. Yeah. Because you got to have cars, you got to have drivers, you got to have crews. It's a very expensive sport to be a part of. So of course, you know, I'm analyzing all of that too. I'm analyzing the fans, the types of people that are there. Met people from all over the world that came to Austin, Texas. To watch this race.
So you can create a product or service and capitalize off it.
No, actually I wasn't looking. I was just trying to understand. I was trying to
understand what the hell is so fascinating about some shit going around in a circle.
Yeah, so it's not even going around in a circle.
Oh, and Formula was a straight line.
No, it's not straight. No,
they go around.
It's like curves, turns. Like this race, I think had 20 turns. It had 20 curves. So.
See, I don't be knowing. I thought,
and then like some of the races, dude, are in. Like the next American race will be held on the Strip in Vegas. So a car can go 200 miles an hour on a strip in Vegas.
Damn.
Right? They got one track in Monaco that they race. That's just not a track. They race through the city of Monaco. Monaco is a very small city. Like the road, like you look at it and you might be able to fit 2 cars side by side on the track or on the road that they race on. Which means that if you get in front, you probably can win the thing, right? So winning the pole position is real important in Monaco. And then just the talent, the athleticism of these cats. And some people might not say they're athletes because they can, you know, they're driving a car, but the G's, and they lose like 5 pounds a race or something crazy like that, 7 pounds a race because of the sweat, because it gets 150, almost 200 degrees in the freaking car certain times. Yeah. They have night races, and it's just like, it's a highly visible sport when it comes to sponsors. So you name a sponsor, particularly luxury brands, they support. So I'm just trying to peep out like the I'm trying to peep out the business of the sport and trying to understand, like the fans. It's funny, I was in the barbershop, and the conversation in the barbershop was credit score and how people act relative to this credit score. And like you could tell, and so the running joke was, yeah, so-and-so, I referred so-and-so to one of my real estate agent friends, and when they got into the closing, they couldn't close because she didn't do something, and she cussed everybody out. And come to find out, she had a low credit score. So that was kind of the running joke, you know. And then this dude came in, he was going off on everybody. He said he got a low credit score. So your credit score was basically tied to how people were acting. And so if, you know, looking at F1, it's like, you know, I was sitting there going, yeah, there's some high credit scores out this spot. Because, you know, Prince Harry was at the daggone race. Elon Musk was at this race. And a lot of celebrities were you know, they go to the races, man. So I'm just trying to peep out just the whole energy and the vibe of that, you know, that community, because it's definitely a community, because people are fans, man, and the fans are polite,
yeah,
right? So they're gonna rep their driver and not gonna talk too much about your driver. They're just gonna rep their driver real hard. Where, you know, football, it's like, I'm going to rep my team, but I'm talking junk about your team.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like that. So yeah, just trying to understand, man. But it was a dope experience, and definitely want to do a race abroad. Max says he might try to get to the Dubai race. I talked to him about it a little bit. Big homie Jerome, I think he's going to one in Brazil.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty dope, man. Dope
Sounds
sport.
like this might be more or less like social status type of stuff. Like
Might
you get
be.
to a certain status, and
but
you do the race.
But there were people there from, I think, I don't know, you know, I wasn't, you know, counting people's pockets or anything, but I think there was like people there from all different socioeconomic, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely a level of, you know, again, it was a different experience at a sporting event, you know, that I've ever been to. And I was blessed. My boy Seth, shout out Seth, who invited me me and Monica to a race at Sonoma, but this was NASCAR, because MJ has two, he's partners with this other guy, and he has a team. And so we went out there, and that was pretty dope too. But that was more, I don't know, it was more laid back. It was more, you know, using your word, country, for the lack of a better term. It was more, but now they had, again, even in that, they had different levels, because you know the suite we were in was, you know, it wasn't no country people in there.
No suite.
Yeah, Beast Mode was in that joint, so you know, hanging out.
That part I was talking about where y'all stayed at. Y'all wasn't no suite.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was nice too.
Yeah.
Man, I got cold diss the smoothest way ever by Beast Mode. You know, I'm not starstruck at all. DC Youngfly was on our flight leaving out of Greensboro that morning, going to the race. So it was like, hey, what's up? He was like, what's up, OG? You know, how you know I'm OG? But anyway, so Beast Mode was, you know, I'm like, Beast Mode, huge fan of Beast Mode, man. Huge fan of Beast Mode. Before and after football. I just think the dude is, you know, a cool dude, and the way he carries himself, his transparency, and, you know, people see that, and he's endorsing products like crazy. So man, I went up to him and I was like, Beast Mode, yo, can I get a pic? He was like, nah, big homie, I'm good. And I was like, you good? Did you ask me for something, or did I ask you? Yeah, I was like confused with that response. I was like, that was smooth the way he pretty much said no. So I didn't get a picture with Beast Mode. So yeah, man, I'm just trying to expand the horizon, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get you to a race. I got to get you to a race.
I mean, I'm not going to have no enjoyment.
Oh man, let me tell you, I probably
don't want to waste your ticket.
No, I thought this is a direct correlation. I mentor, shout out Cam. What's up, Cam? Cam Berger, mentor Cam. Cam's a cool cat, really smart dude. He was born with a TBI, traumatic brain injury, but super intelligent, and just he's hilarious. And yeah, so that's how I'm gonna leave it at that. So me and Cam, we met Thursday, And so again, a part of what we do is we use your affirmation cards, right? And so one of the affirmation cards was talking about opportunity and being, and how opportunities can transfer you to, or transform you to something bigger and better. And I forget the card, but it talked about you being in position to receive this opportunity that's going to transform your life, yada, yada, yada. And so I said, Cam, what's the most important word, in this card? And he was like, transform. And I was like, I don't think so. It was like, something bigger and better for your life. I was like, nah. So I pointed to the word position, right? Because it talked about being in position for the opportunity. Because Cam, he doesn't like to do certain things. If Cam doesn't want to do something, doesn't want to go somewhere, doesn't want to, be a part of something, he's just not going to do it. And so that was perfect to talk about being in the right position in order to receive the opportunity that could possibly transform your life. And so, so when I was asking, when I said, I gotta get you to a race, I ain't going to no race. You gotta be in position, my man, in order to benefit from an opportunity that can transform your life. And so, hey, you gotta pay a fine for that, man. But so I thought about that, man. So position, that was the word we keyed in on and we talked about. So that's it. That's it. Going through your affirmation cards about you being in position. So when you say, I ain't doing it, I ain't going to get no physical. I don't need no doctor. You never know. You got to be in position in order to see the opportunity.
That might be your position. So when you talk about pure position, you actually breaking down what the word purpose means. So we all got a different purpose. So you supposed to be somewhere don't mean I'm supposed to be there to get my opportunity. Right. So
but we don't know though, do we?
And other stuff.
Do we know?
Yeah, but if I'm aligned with my values and what I'm trying to do, then I ain't gonna be over here where somebody else pulling me in they joint. So I don't get, like I said, I was like, probably
you got to go to the race on your own. I can't pull you.
Yeah, I got to go to where I need to go or where I'm trying to go because you know what I mean? Because it ain't, it's a bunch of resistance there. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Yeah, it won't create no friction.
You ever before we go though? You ever like? I know you do golf and everything. Yeah. You ever had any like arguments and things like that over your favorite golfer or something? Because I heard you reference how in watching this sport, they just support their driver and then they just you
just talk about like in golf. I'm looking at this social man. I've never debated Tiger is better than. I can say Tiger is. You talk about like my favorite golfer's achievements, right, and how he got to where he got. But ain't never been no argument about. I don't see two cats arguing about. Who their favorite golfer is. That's an interesting point, though.
I'm just trying to make the correlation to what you got going.
Back to Formula One. The point I was going to make is less than 1%. Less than 1% of 1% of 1% was there. When they tap into, not if, but when they tap into our culture, especially when it comes to music, it's a wrap. It's going to blow up because everything about like Formula One is dope and it kind of emulates other areas of our culture. Yeah. And so it's going to be, they ain't figured that out yet. It's obvious they haven't figured it out yet.
Maybe that's why you're there. That's why you're in position.
Could be. If you might reach out to them and say, yo, let me help you. You want to grow this global brand and see when you get comfortable, like, because they're huge. I mean, and they got a monopoly. There's no other, Formula One competitors. They are the entity that has the teams and yada yada, like the PGA.
So they do what they want to do.
Right, they can do what they want to do. Yeah. Until
they don't do what they have to do.
Right, until the Live comes along. Like, you heard about Live? The cats. Live is they pretty much buying sports.
LVI. Them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're buying. They're telling they're offering ridiculous contracts for our pro athletes in sports to come play for them in their league, right? And so until that happens in like Formula One racing, then they pretty much do it. They probably could care less because they're printing money at this point.
Yeah, well, they probably got a good old boys network anyway. It sounds like
probably.
Yeah, for sure.
On some, but just on a whole nother level.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah.
Which is way worse than the good old boys networks and the other joints.
Because you got money. Yeah, you got money and influence. You got power. So
just a quick thing. You talked about monopolies. Did you guys see how the NBA is kind of under fire right now?
No, what they talking about?
They basically are in court because basically they're how they were conspiring against Ice Cube's Big Three.
Nice.
And basically they were saying like the NBA was kind of flexing like to prevent other sponsors and stuff like that from actually like sponsoring the Big Three and like trying to prevent their players from going over there and stuff like that, especially after they retire. So it was just very curious when you were saying about the whole monopoly situation, but like right now they're like basically saying they're violating some antitrust laws because they basically just trying to like ice them out and trying to get rid of them.
That's interesting.
That's some good stuff, man.
Yeah, I don't know. So now if the NBA owns the player post their career, then maybe, but I don't know. They own them. They own them while they are part of the league. I mean, they're contracted with the team.
Yeah, but there's some other stuff too. They were saying like how James Harden kind of found a loophole because they were saying like if you don't show up for your for your training camp and stuff like that after a certain amount of time, basically the team owns your rights. Like and basically they you can't play for life afterwards until basically what happened was like he came for a couple of days and then he left again, right? But it was just like, but how can
did he retire?
How can you put yourself? How can someone be in a position to accept a contract like that? Like how is it that like
there's provisions in the contract. A contract protects you and it protects well actually it depends on who writes the contract.
But for life, for a life contract, because that's basically what that is. It's saying like if you violate this, like I basically own your right to be able to make a living.
Yeah, the NBA is entertainment, so it's like an artist. I own you. You can't go sing and make music other places without me getting paid off of it. So I get that part. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I get it. So did James Harden go play in a Big Three game or something?
No. Those are two different. It's two different conversations. Oh, okay. They were having just right there.
Oh man, I'm slow. You can't do that. Can't switch up. I'm slow. But I get it. I understand. I mean, I'm in the NBA. Yeah, you want to, it's the artist.
Yeah, because basically one of the things that I have heard is that some like current players were talking about going to the Big Three during the off season. So basically,
in the off season, they can't do that.
To basically stay in shape.
Yeah, they can't do that in the off season. Nah, you better do something else to stay in shape. You can't. Yeah, that's their property. Their property can't go play,
and that's wild.
Yeah,
just that statement alone is like. It's cringy right there.
Have you seen a combine? Have you seen an NFL combine?
Oh yeah.
The NFL combine reminds you of back in the day when they need to see let me see your teeth. Let me see how hold your arms out. Let me see how strong you are. Let me see how high you can jump. Let me measure. Let me measure your legs. Let me get all the physical attributes of you, son, before I invest all this money into you. Have you seen the NFL combine? Bruh, please. So, yeah. What, man? I'm just saying, man. Somebody had to say it. I'll do it. But, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. It's their property. They don't want their property damaged. Bron can't go play in no Big Three and, tear an ACL, and he can't show up on TV. What do y'all think about they're saying that the NFL has scripts? That certain things, they expect certain things to.
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. Man, you got some bunch of people coaching.
Big homie got off this past weekend.
Oh,
Hassan.
Hassan. Yeah,
and Dale son. Yeah.
They both doing great.
Wandale got off too. But yeah, what you think? You think there's a script with the NFL? You think they're on script?
I gotta talk to somebody I know. That actually play.
Yeah, I don't know. But basically, they're saying, and then have you heard Gilbert Arenas talk about the script for the NBA?
Nah, you got to send it to me.
Yeah, he's like, come on, man, like who do people want to see play? Would they rather have seen Miami, the LeBron and D Wade Miami, or would they rather see Denver or somebody like that in the playoffs, or go deep in the playoffs? Yeah, it's a script. It's all about money. It's all about ratings. Again, follow the money, man. Shoot. What else you got, man?
That's about it, man.
That's about it. Yeah. Good week. You had a good week?
Great week, man.
That's what's up.
Keeping it going, man.
Yeah, man. I about died this morning. You know, I'm still operating off like 2 hours of sleep. And then this morning it was crazy. It was almost like, let me see if I can break them. Let me see what I can do to break them. Let me go do this extra set of this, see if I can break them. And then the push-ups at the end, it was like.
Who did them?
Huh? I did push-ups.
I know. I'm just saying who.
Right. So it was like. I think. Let me know. I think Jerome did the Houdini. He pulled the wool over everybody's eyes. Somebody wasn't paying attention. He was like, "Yeah, I did them. Y'all gonna do them?" Then it was like one at a time. Then Leon went and did them, and then she was like, "Yeah, so and so did them with the inverted joints. They put the feet on the bench and did them. They did 60." And then you add a fuel to the fire. You're like, "Do 60 straight. Don't stop. And if you stop, then do hand release. But you're gonna do 60 straight." Man, it's about to die. But it's all good, man. It was a good death, for sure. For sure. Glad to be back.
60. That's why you got your blue on.
Just, huh?
Stop 60 today.
Stop it, bro. Stop it.
Blue on.
Nah, I'm like Brandon. Brandon, I'm doing 59 or 61. I'm not doing 60.
I don't know. You was hanging out with Big U.
Who?
You was hanging out with Big U.
I was in the same area with Big U, man. Big U cool brother, though, man.
Now you come back wearing blue.
Nah, see, stop it. Well, stop that, man. Stop that. He's an instigator for sure.
Yo, man. We gonna send him off, man.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in again, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the End Game podcast with your friends and your family, man. And it's real simple. Do you think somebody else can benefit from this incredible show that we put together? If you do, man, please share it with somebody. Thank you for leaving the comments. Mm-hmm. Thank you for giving us 5 stars. Thank you for listening on Spotify, Apple Music. Just thank you for anything that helps promote the brand, man. We appreciate it tremendously. We ain't asking you to pay nothing. We're just asking you to pay attention. And y'all have been doing that, so we appreciate it. And so with that, man, I'm going to say, until next time, I'm Rod Brown.
I'm Lynch Hunt.
Peace. That's EA.
Yeah.
EA Sports. He's in the game. Let's go.